Hey everybody and welcome back. My name is Shakia for those of you who don't know. I am the founder of Suckle. So I came today to talk to you guys about the top 5 mistakes that new doulas make in hopes that you guys obviously don't make those mistakes. If you are not yet subscribing, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so that you're alerted every time I post a new video. Please and thank you. I have a goal that I am really trying to meet by the end of the year. I would like to have 1,000 subscribers. I'm almost to 200 and I've set myself up for a pace that hopefully will allow me to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, y'all. So I appreciate the support. And like I said, if you are not yet subscribing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribing, I really appreciate you subscribing. And now I just ask that you go ahead and share my video with people that you think may be interested, and don't forget to hit the like button. So like I said, we're going to talk about the top 5 mistakes that new doulas make. These are not in any particular order. So yeah, I will say the first one is very important though. The first one is new doulas do not network. I've talked about this several times in several different videos about my mistakes of not networking. I had this mindset like I can do it by myself, which is always my mindset for anything. Like I don't need anybody. I'll figure it out. I'll make a way, whatever. And so when I came into this doula world, I thought the same thing. I literally was like, I don't need nobody. I'm about to figure this thing out. I'm about to do it. Y'all, I can tell y'all 3 years later, I still regret not networking, and I still feel like I'm making up for not networking now. Networking is extremely important. Networking gives you an opportunity to meet people in your community that are doing the same or similar things to what you're doing, but more so you guys have a common interest, which is maternal and child health. So no matter if that person is a health educator, a doula, a midwife, a lactation consultant, just works in the office that sees a lot of pregnant people, anything, a yoga instructor, even a chiropractor, I would say that you should be making connections with these people. No matter what stage you're in, just express your interest. Like, hey, I'm actually interested in being a doula. Do you know any doulas? Do you know anyone? Things of that nature. Because in the back of their head, they're always going to keep you in mind. Like, oh, so-and-so is interested in being a doula when someone asks about it. So you definitely want to keep your name out there. And that's one of the most important reasons that you want to network, to be honest with you. But not just that. I see a lot of people who contact me and they're contacting me like, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? This is the thing, y'all. When you contact somebody to network with them, don't just make it just about yourself. It should be a partnership. It should be, I can do this for you, or I can assist you with this, and you can assist me with this. You have to come to someone with the idea of they're not just helping you, but you're also helping them. And I would say that's like the biggest mistake that a lot of people make. They come and they're just like, what can you do for me? It's not just about you. There's a bigger goal, and that is to help as many women as possible being a doula. For myself, I host programs a lot, and one of the programs that I do host is a Meet the Doulas event. So doulas of the Triangle area, Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, they come to an event and like we just get together, we talk. Most doulas represent themselves, but some do work for agencies. And so what they'll do is they'll talk about what they have going on, if they have programs, and we just really kind of support each other. And that is the biggest thing. You have to understand that you're not in competition with another doula. You really are not in competition with any other doula. Individually, we can't help every woman. Together, we can help everybody. Together, we can reach more people. So don't look at it as it being a competition. Look at it as like, I'm willing to work with somebody, or this person is going to work with me, and this person's going to help me do this, and I'm going to help them do that. Like I said, I still regret not networking. I'm still making up for it. I'm still trying to get my name out there as far as a resource in the community. And so I feel like that would help, but I feel like I could do more if I had previously talked to more people, if that makes sense. Not networking is definitely my number one mistake when it comes to entering this field of maternal and child health. I thought I could do it by myself, and I quickly realized that that is a no-go. Also, for new doulas, I've had people contact me about being a backup. I don't want to sound rude, but I don't think that it's a good idea to contact someone and just ask to be their backup, especially if they don't know you, they don't know your ideas about birth. As a backup, you serve if I'm unable to attend that birth, but that client has actually hired me. So what that means is that client has paid their deposit to me. If you take on that client because I'm unable to do the birth, then of course we have an agreement where you would get paid for that birth. But that client selected me based off of my values around birth, and obviously it matched their values around birth. And so when I look at backup doulas, it's someone who has the same mindset of myself surrounding births. So I don't think it's a good idea to contact someone and say, can I be your backup, and you guys have not discussed birth. Just be cautious of the way that you approach people, because a lot of people take this very, very serious, and you don't want to come off as if you're just so desperate to get out there that you're willing to do anything. That's one thing that I will say. You don't want to do that. You just kind of want to like slowly but surely get your foot in the door. Of course, don't beg anybody or anything like that, but just make sure that when you contact somebody, it's more so of how you guys can work together and not just what they can do to benefit you. Will be the number one mistake that new doulas make. Number two, new doulas do not do their research. I get so many comments about what agency should I go through? What agency would you recommend? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Y'all, it's not about what agency I recommend. It's about what agency best fits you. I would say go back to my very first video when I described the first steps of becoming a doula. Get your niche. Decide who you want to work with. Decide what population you want to work with. That niche should be down to income, down to what type of car they drive, down to how many kids they have, down to marital status. Do your niche. Find out what type of population you want to serve. Do you want to serve minorities? Do you want to serve only women of color? Decide all of this stuff. Do you decide if you want to serve military families, or if you want to help with multiples, as far as like twins or triplets. Decide all this stuff, and then what you do based off of your decisions is you find an agency that suits you, an agency that supports that, an agency that goes into detail and puts on the emphasis that you have. That's what you want to do to describe. I've said in previous videos, I am strongly interested in Black maternal and child health. So now I am going through Mama Glow. And that's because I feel like her values more correlate to my values versus Donna. So those are things that you want to look into. It's not so much about what fits someone else. It's more so about what fits you, what you want to do, how you see your doula career, things of that nature. Do your research. Other things about doing your research. When it comes to your research and you go through an agency to certify through, let's just say Donna International. A part of doing your research to make sure that program will actually allow you to manifest your dreams. What I mean by this is, a lot of people, I'm Donna International trained, so I can put that. I'm Donna International trained. That's no problem. I have a certificate to prove that I'm Donna International trained. I could say, do a workshop and say, oh, I'm doing a doula workshop and by a Donna International trained doula. The problem is I'm not trained to teach Donna approved workshops. Make sure that the workshop that you're attending is actually can lead to certification if that is your desire. Make sure that Donna approves the workshop that you're going to. The thing about it is you can easily do research and find out whether or not it's Donna approved. If you see a flyer on the Starbucks bulletin board and it says Donna workshop or doula workshop by Donna trainer, y'all, All you have to do is go on Donna.com or Donna.org and look up workshops. If that workshop is supposed to be held on Saturday and there's no date on Donna's workshop for that, it's not good. It's not a good workshop. You're going to waste your money. And the reason I'm telling you this is doula trainings range anywhere from like $450 all the way up to about $900, depending on your state. Don't waste, even if it's $400, don't waste $400 on a training that's not going to lead to what you want to do when you can just pay a little bit more or maybe even the same amount for an approved workshop. No matter what agency you go to, make sure that you do your research to make sure A, that agency is good, and B, your training is good. A part of that, once you register for that training, you will see your instructor. I would say do your research, find out how many classes has that instructor taught. If you can find someone that has been in previous classes of that instructor, go ahead and talk to them. Find out the pros and cons, what they like, what they disliked about it. Therefore, you have a general idea if that's something that you want to do. Talk to someone who maybe even a potential client or a previous client that has worked with them. Talk to them. See how they like their experience with that doula. Just please, y'all, do your research, because it's a lot of time out here and it's a lot of money that has to be invested, and you don't want to invest your time. You don't want to invest your time and your money into something that does not pay off in the long run. Research, and network. Top 2. Research and network. Don't skip out. Make sure your foundation is solid, and the first steps of your foundation is to network and do your research. Period. It's just that simple. Number 3, new doulas rely solely on the information gained during the training. Y'all, please don't do this. Don't go to a training thinking that you're going to come out and you're going to be completely knowledgeable and you're going to know everything. Don't lie to a client like you know and you really don't know. Just say, I'm not sure. Let me do some research and I'll get back to you. My real recommendation when it comes to this and avoiding this mistake is to read as much as possible before you even commit to becoming a doula, commit to being in the maternal and child health, commit to the workshop. Do your read. And the reason that I say this is because you can read, and then when you come to the training, you will have a better understanding of what's being discussed, and you will also give you an opportunity. It will also give you an opportunity to ask as many questions as you want to ask regarding the topic. If you wait and you read after the fact, then it's like if you don't understand it, it's not really a way for you to communicate that and ask questions about that. So read. A lot of workshops will require that you read one book before. For Donna International, it's Birth Partners. That's a requirement before you attend the workshop. But read everything else as much as you can. It's very simple. Go on Donna and look at their required reading list, and you can do this for other groups as well, other organizations as well. Go on their website and look at their required reading list and see what sticks out, what interests you, what's the beginning, and read. The information presented in the workshop, first of all, it's a lot of information being presented at you. It's 12-hour days. Eventually you get tired. And it's not enough. When I left the workshop, I remember thinking like, dang, this is it. And I remember going to the workshop like, oh, when I come out, I'm about to make a lot of money, just like Google said. And I was just like, I'm not even ready to charge people yet, because I didn't feel like I had everything and the knowledge that I needed to be out here charging people to do a birth for them. So I would highly recommend that you read. Don't make the mistake of not reading. Don't make the mistake of going to the training thinking that you're going to come out and you're going to be knowledgeable about everything. And definitely don't get caught faking the funk when it comes to a customer, a potential client that you feel like you can't say that you don't know. You can always say that you don't know, but it's your job to find out. So that would be mistake number 3. Don't rely solely on the knowledge gained during the workshop. Like you have got to gain some knowledge on your own, and that even goes beyond the workshop. Once the workshop is over, you should still be reading. You should still be looking at current events. You should still be doing all of these things because your knowledge cannot end. Like you have to keep going. Things change every single day. You need to like keep reading, keep being informed about the topics. Mistake number 4: new doulas incorrectly set their price points. So myself, I'm not here to tell you what you should and what you should not charge. That's not my approach to this. My approach to this is there are two very different ends of the spectrum. There are some people who leave and they set their business up and they charge, some of them even charge nothing. They work for free. And then there are also some people who finish the workshop and they come out and they're charging $1,500 for a birth. Y'all, you know your life, you know your bills, you know all of this stuff. So it's very, very important that you choose what you feel like you're worth and what you feel like is fair. That's really where I come from this point. For me, I don't feel like attending a birth for free is doable. As you guys know, I work full time. I'm also in school, and so it's like I can't do births for free. I can't work for free. But if you can and you're willing to do it, then kudos to you. Also, I don't feel like for my market, with my experience, that it's fair to charge $1,500. So what I did was I set a price point that I could function off of, as well as I felt like was fair for the amount of experience that I have in the birth world, as also for what you're getting with me, my skills. Look at your community, see how much doulas are charging in your community, not just new doulas. See how much doulas are charging in your community. And then from there, you want to set a price point that you feel like is fair. That's just my recommendation. Don't miss out trying to charge an arm and a leg for a service that you were really not even comfortable for. You know your skills. You know how comfortable you are doing these skills. You know your experience. For me, I personally just don't feel like it's fair for someone who has been doing this for a month, that may have had one birth, if that, to be charging the same thing for someone who has been doing this for 10 plus years, you know? But that's up to you. I would say a mistake is to incorrectly set your price points. You know what you're worth and you know what's fair. Set your price points based off of that. Don't necessarily be afraid to go too low. And don't be afraid to say, don't think, oh, I have to charge just $100, you know, because I'm new. Do what you feel like is fair. Count in the sacrifices that you have. I met a lady the other day and she was like asking me about my price points, and she's a doula. And I was telling her, and she was like, that's pretty cheap for this area. And I was like, yeah, you know, like this is just how I work it, you know, like I felt like it's fair. And she's like, well, that's what I was charging before I had my son. She was like, but now that I have my son, I charge a little bit more. And I was like, oh, really? Why? And she was like, because you have to pay for, you know, the sacrifice of me missing out on my son, you know, like missing out. I'm not there for my son for sometimes days at a time. And for that, I understood and I respected it. So you just do what best fits you. It's a lot of doulas out here that are charging more than I am in my community. And then there's also doulas who are charging less than I am in my community. So I just set what was fair to me. And I feel like that's just the best way to do it. So that's where I am on that. Number 5, y'all. The last one. Number 5. Do not take on any client, just any client that comes your way. That's a mistake new doulas make. New doulas feel like because they are so anxious to get their experience, to get their births towards certifications, they just take on any and every client that comes their way. Every client is not for you, and we just have to accept this. We have to accept that. Goes back into the whole you're not in competition with any other doula, because what's for you is going to be for you. The client that's for you is going to be for you. Don't get yourself in trouble trying to take on a client that may not work out for you, that is not for you. I would say this is especially important for new doulas, only because as a new doula, you're still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and you want to make sure that you are definitely inside that scope of practice. Sometimes potential clients don't necessarily understand the scope of practice, and they want you to do things that may be outside of the scope of practice, and that can get you in trouble in the long run. For instance, for me, I had a lady who kept insisting on having a home birth with no midwife, no OB, no nothing, just me and her. And I kept telling her, like, I cannot do that, I cannot do that, I cannot do that. And she acted like she understood. And then, like, as it kept coming up, I was like, look, I didn't tell her one too many times. Like, I'm just gonna have to cancel it. And I had to, and I felt like that because she obviously wasn't for me. It's not worth me getting in trouble. It's not worth me being sued. It's not worth any of that thing just to be able to take on a client. Make sure that client is for you. Make sure that you agree with the values that client has. And if you don't agree, you can set aside your personal feelings. Like I said, it goes beyond just the birth. Some cultures do not allow the man in the room. Some families do not want the older siblings to be in the room. And when I say older siblings, I just mean any sibling older than the baby. They don't want that sibling to be in the room. Some people do not believe in breastfeeding. Some people only believe in breastfeeding. Some people do not believe in circumcising your baby. Others definitely do agree. So if you can't put your personal feelings aside, that client is not for you. If you don't agree with epidurals and that client wants an epidural, that client is not for you. Don't get yourself in a situation where you're really getting caught up and hung up on trying to get a client that you're just willing to kind of risk it all. Make sure that client is somebody that you're compatible with, and I promise you everything else will go smooth. So you guys, I hope that you all enjoyed the video. These are the top 5 mistakes that new doulas make. Like I said, please hit that subscribe button, y'all. Also, not just the subscribe button, please make sure that you're sharing the videos, and I'll see you again in my next video. Thanks. Bye.